Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well and staying safe during this time. If you're new here, welcome to the channel. Like I said, thank you so much for checking me out. If you haven't done so, please make sure to hit that subscribe button just right below the video. Cool, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. And if you're returning, welcome back. Thanks again for your support. I truly do appreciate having you here.
I want to briefly, and just a little bit, talk about XRP. This article says XRP sees huge accumulation. I want to talk about what exactly is going on there, as the XRP price was doing pretty well yesterday. And then our last two topics are Terra, once again, because they've been doing really amazing. Terra is now DeFi's network of choice after Ethereum. I want to cover that a little bit more and why I'm such a big fan of Terra. And last but not least, this is a very big subject. Is Bitcoin going to separate from the S&P, which coincides with the Bill Miller story from earlier, but also is a whole separate theory? We also have a couple of additional articles to aid with that. For example, Ukraine spending a lot of the crypto budget they've gotten, and the fact that the whole Ukraine situation, in some weird way, shape, or form, is changing the entire course of crypto. Alright, so let me tackle a couple of these articles at once. Here's an article on why this billionaire, again Bill Miller, is bullish on crypto in times of trouble. You guys have most likely seen that quite a lot of people compare Bitcoin to gold. Well, I don't personally think it's the same. It might be the newer gold, the gold of our generation, that's for sure, I guess. However, I don't think they're completely the same. And that mostly relies on the fact that gold is this asset which is so old and in that sense pretty stable for almost any scenario we can think of. However, it is becoming increasingly more difficult to use it in these modern times, and in reality, people are only doing the whole let's buy gold thing because it's kind of engraved in their brains. The intrinsic value that people see in gold really is not as beautiful as I think it once was in terms of how useful it is or how much people should be hoarding it. And I honestly think that this just goes with generations basically. So before it was gold, and again, the actual value of gold it's a shiny piece of metal. People think, wow, shiny, nice, I want to have that. There's a limited amount of it, and it has some uses. However, I think that that's the older generation, because that was something they could hoard and kind of really think to want to have the possessions. Right now, it's kind of turning over into a potentially crypto type of want to have, because it's actually a lot more useful, and it's something which, again, our generation can kind of think of, I want to hoard this, I want to keep this. And we're seeing right now in the whole Ukraine situation, which we're covering in just a little bit, that it can actually save your own life if you actually hold a lot of crypto. Because think about this. Let's say, hypothetically speaking, you are in a specific country around the world that has lost access to almost every other country out there because of sanctions. Well, you're in luck, because you have crypto that you control yourself, and regardless of what type of sanctions are bestowed upon you, you can pay your freaking bills through the other side of the world because you have a payment type that nobody can take away from you. If you have to walk around with your gold bar all across the world, that's going to be difficult. And so in the scenario, I would say to really keep stable, I honestly think gold might take the cake for a good while, as the older generation kind of quote unquote fades away. And then again, our newer generation will most likely appreciate it a lot more for the benefits. However, this article actually had a different approach, and he basically says that right now, a lot of token creators are trying to kind of lure you in with all these big brand partnerships and whatnot. And there's something important to be said about that. I honestly think there's only a handful of crypto that should be quote-unquote hoarded. Again, this is not financial advice, just my own opinion. But the majority of crypto in this realm right now are purely meant as money grabs for the people who found it. A lot of them will not go through any of the plans that they have. A lot of them will not really build in the way which we hope them to or expect them to. I've told you the exact same thing about NFTs and about a lot of metaverse projects which are trying to build a game over the next couple of years. As I've said before, I have worked on a lot of games. I have been promoting helping to create games for years now. I know a lot about it. And I also, I would say, have insights to know which ones will most likely survive and which ones won't. In a couple of my panel discussions, if you guys haven't seen that, I'll post it somewhere one of these times. I basically sat down and talked with a lot of crypto influencers or people, and what we always come down to is this whole metaverse realm. What I always say to people, and this is very critical, if the game launches in a couple of years from now, like I think Starlink, Illuvium, or Star Atlas, Illuvium, I think both of them will launch in like 6-7 years or so. If that's the case, I don't think it's worth speculating on the actual game part. We could speculate on the token price, not the actual game itself, because right now, 2022, if we're going to speculate for 2030, we don't know if all these cryptos will be, like let's say the market will be $2 trillion or $45 trillion. So we don't know if there's going to be 3 fully functional games, 7,000 fully functional games, because look at what happened in the last decade for crypto. It's unimaginable how much it's grown. If you're waiting for a product that many years into the future, when crypto right now is going at a crazy exponential curve, I think it's too risky. Again, my thoughts, because these guys are getting too much funds for too long a time. And so I think if there's any new project, it needs to be happening quickly. There's too much of this luring going on, which is taking a lot of definition away from the traditional cryptos. Now, why is this relevant? It's to kind of guide you guys through what I am seeing, right? I talk to a lot of crypto founders. I know so many of them personally. I've met you wouldn't imagine how many I've met throughout these last couple of years. So I can also kind of understand who's BSing me and who's really making a coin that's going to last. If I cover it on the channel, I've talked with the founder most likely, or at least I really, really like it and I'm holding a lot of it. It's not because I'm trying to promote my own bags. As you guys know, I don't do that on the channel. What I do is talk to you guys about what I think is wise, what I think is the best for all of us. At the end of the day, it doesn't hurt me to talk about what exactly I think will do well for us. And if I make a mistake, I own up to it, because again, it doesn't really, I don't care about the credibility. I don't care about the loss. It's all about, I would say, accumulating more, or I guess doing better than we were doing yesterday. So now how does that tie into the rest of our story? There's a lot of articles which we've read about the S&P and Bitcoin kind of straying out of each other. Let me tell you guys right now. As long as this idea is in people's heads that Bitcoin is not really related to gold in the same sense, and that Bitcoin is an investment vehicle, and that we again should be buying and should be FOMOing in because of what we're seeing here, because of crazy announcements, the S&P and Bitcoin will be quite correlated, because there'll be this idea of making money with this specific asset and not using this asset for the freedom of transfer flow or flow of money or whatever, value of flow. You guys understand what I mean? As long as that idea is there, there's a very high probability that people will speculate on assets and Bitcoin, which again is then seen as an asset instead of a currency as well. So will that change though because of the conflict? I'm gonna say there's a very high probability it is. Look at this, Ukraine spending $15 million worth of crypto donations on the military budget. This is a key turning point for the full adoption of crypto because we're seeing for the first time that an entire country is not just using it as an investment vehicle. People are not sending their money as an investment vehicle. People are sending their money, and a entity here is literally using it to the best of their ability, to the best of what it was purposely built for. But then also on the other side, Russia. We're seeing sanctions be kicked in, and even though this is critical, cryptocurrencies will most likely not be used to evade sanctions on a grand scale for countries totally, because all the on and off ramps will still be sanctioned, so it's not going to change and make things really bad and anything like that. What it is going to allow for people to do, and I would say that's most important, is for a lot of people to still get their groceries if they were locked out. For a lot of people to still have this side way of using potentially a little bit of additional capital here to, again, make their lives better. But let's just digress from that part a little bit because I don't want to speculate too much on this evading sanctions in the smallest parts. I want to stay true to the point here.
I'm your guy. I will keep you posted. I'm your advocate. I'll be back on a daily basis, usually multiple times per day, with these videos to keep you updated with everything going on. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you haven't done so, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Feel free to share any of my videos with your friends, family, social media, or anybody who may care to listen. Thanks so much for your continued support. I'm always here for you. I want to help you through this time. So thank you so much for continuing to choose me. Enjoy your day, stay safe, and I'll catch you again probably in a couple hours. Thanks, everybody. See you later.